Welcome everyone. We're excited to share some country wisdom with you.
King Solomon had a thing or two to say about the path to wisdom. In Proverbs 4, he wrote, "Let your eyes look directly forward and your gaze be straight before you. Keep straight the path of your feet, and all your ways will be sure."
Join us now for Country Wisdom. Gee, it's really good to be with you today. Thank you for allowing us here at your restaurant.
Well, thank you for coming.
It smelled so good when I walked in, and I went straight to the case where you have the goodies laid out and was pretty sure I was gaining weight just standing there.
I don't think it works that way.
This is all healthy food. Tell us the name of your restaurant so all the viewers can know.
It's called Melange Eatery. A lot of people are a little confused about the word melange. It means a mixture or a variety, which is basically what we represent. My chef hubby and I, come from different parts of the world, and we integrate different flavors and spices in our food, but it's all plant-based.
And I'll tell you folks, they're located in Medford, Oregon. It is great food. Come on by sometime. I had to get a commercial in for you.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Any plug helps.
You bet. This is not always what you've done. Tell us a little bit about your life.
It's definitely not what I've always done. In fact, most of my friends, at least at some point or another, bus tables or waitress somewhere, worked in a coffee shop.
Working their way through college.
Right, through high school and college, and I never did. I guess I was kind of intimidated by the whole thing. I always thought I was a little bit clumsy, or maybe it was my pride, who knows, but I just never worked in a restaurant, so it was a steep learning curve. I needed to learn everything from how to set up a POS system to how to
What
get
is a
accounts.
POS system?
The system that actually keeps track of your sales and, all the stuff that the accountant wants to know, and IRS.
But you weren't too intimidated in early life because you ended up in the corporate world.
Right. So I was, when I was told the scholarship came through for me, I was living in Switzerland. And
tough place to live.
Oh, yeah. Lots of hardships. Not really. It was a very lovely place. And that led to living in Southeast Asia for quite a long time. It wasn't meant to be something that lasted year after year for almost 16 years is how long I ended up being there. It was just supposed to be a 2-year stint. But one thing led to another, and after I finished my degree, we, 3 others and myself, we co-founded a consulting business. Some would call it a law firm because a lot of lawyers were in it. But we did lots of work, land due diligence projects, and memorandums of understandings for different corporate clients, and things that law firms typically do.
You spoke, I understand, many languages too.
I speak a few. Experience and circumstances have.
It's not bragging. Tell me, how many do you speak?
Well, languages are one of those things. If you don't use it, you lose it. And there are some I won't lose because they're just hardwired in my head. Like, I was born in Romania, so my birth language, Romanian, I'll probably never forget, which is a good thing. And French was my second language, and I used it extensively throughout the time I lived in Southeast Asia. I also went back to I was in France as part of one of my years in college. So it's another one I can rely on, and I won't lose it, even though it's probably at times a little bit less used than other times. And along the way, of course, I learned German because I was in a immigration camp in Austria. My German.
I studied German for 4 years in school, but again, you don't use it. There aren't that many German speakers that live in this area. And, I could probably still read a little, but to have it come up where I could answer a question,
Right.
might not be there.
But it's in a dusty drawer at the very back of your mind, I'm quite sure of it.
With a whole lot of other things.
Yes. So I learned Thai and Khmer because I lived there as well. And, you know, but they're not.
Are you feeling intimidated yet?
Well, you know, different people have different things in life, and you've done a lot of things in your life. That's what's amazing too. You're doing pretty good in the corporate world. Is that a correct statement?
Well, you know, I've always been a go-getter. My brother, my oldest brother, says that even as a little girl, I was probably 5, 6 years younger than him. I would walk around pointing with two fingers, not just one, and telling everyone how they needed to. So I guess bossy is what he was trying to say. I like to think of it as, you know, I knew where I wanted to go and I wanted to get there quickly. So I was always ready to instruct and make sure everybody was clear on what it is they needed to do to get there. So corporate world, yes, I can say that from the world's perspective, we did really well. A lot of our friends thought we were crazy.
You're with the movers and shakers in the corporate world, and you knew a lot of maybe big people, quote unquote.
Yeah, by the world standards, certainly rubbed shoulders with people who are powerful, wealthy, the fit and fabulous, the pretty, you know, all those kinds of people were part of the picture, got invited to the right parties, went to a lot of diplomatic circle type functions, went to actually one of the royal family weddings when I was in Cambodia, probably actually more than one, but one that was truly one of those unforgettable types of events. And what did it all mean? I mean, you know, really, they're just people like you and I. And
But so you had the nice cars, you had the nice house.
oh, absolutely.
Had the nice everything.
The nice everything. In fact, because things are so much more affordable in places like Southeast Asia, you know, we had the life that had help in the home and chauffeurs and, you know, all the 9 yards, everything, yeah.
So you
Very
were
much.
apparently really happy because you had everything.
Really happy? No, no. There were a lot of moments where I was really not very happy, but from an outside perspective, very
You had it all.
successful woman, absolutely. I could go where I wanted to go, dressed as I wanted to be dressed, anytime, travel to whatever part of the world, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, I had those things.
But you said you weren't really happy?
I was, I think, confused a lot of the time.
Well,
And it was a facade, you know, a lot of it is really just trying to make sure that nobody really knows that you're just kind of a fraud and you're going as quickly as you possibly can through these different experiences, trying to make everybody think that everything's okay, but no.
The world is full of trouble and chaos, but sometimes the worst turmoil is inside us. The Bible promises that no matter how sinful, helpless, and wounded you are right now, God can fill you with a peace that goes beyond all comprehension. If you'd like to claim that promise, I'd like to send you a pamphlet called The Promise of Peace. It's absolutely free. Go to talkingdonkeyinternational.org and request offer number 120 to order your copy today.
For maybe some of our viewers, you had absolutely everything that people are striving to get happy, to gain happiness. I mean, you had the cars, you had the houses, you had the parties, you were the movers and shakers with the rich and wealthy, and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
But so what was actually missing?
Well, I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know humility.
But you didn't know that you didn't know at the time, right?
No, of course not. No. I mean, I grew up in a believing home, in a Christian home. I never met the Lord, though, and I didn't have a compass for what is really truly important. You know, what really leads to sleeping peacefully at night, or not worrying about things, or just having that assurance that I have now. I mean, I live in a modest, you know, manufactured home in the country where
That's
I
a change.
never thought I would ever enjoy living. But I have the stars at night, and I have elk, you know, wild elk traversing the property at times, and I have just the most joyous moments. And I never thought those kinds of things would be what I would consider happiness, but they're just gloriously beautiful.
So where
go ahead.
where did the change come? When did it happen? How did it happen?
I was going to say, it sounds
I
like
don't know much about you. He said she's got a story that you are going to want to hear. And I love hearing how what made them do that turn.
We got polar opposites. What you're describing now is certainly not over here necessarily in the corporate world. It can be, but you've got something totally different. How did that change?
So it was probably a gradual change. I didn't really, perceive the changes, but little by little, I started feeling a little claustrophobic, surrounded by all the attorneys and all the clients who wanted everything perfect and done yesterday, finished. And I felt a need to do something more natural. So I first wanted to learn about natural medicine. And I decided, okay, I'm out of here. I'm gonna not be involved in this firm that I started anymore. I'm selling my shares, I'm out of here. And I studied natural medicine for a while in Australia. And I also felt probably a need to get out of Southeast Asia. So that was my first step away. And I was really feeling a disconnect from the spiritual, from what gives us breath, you know, from God. But I didn't know at the time. I called it I didn't have a spiritual life. You know, I didn't understand what spirituality really was all about. So I got sucked into the New Age movement, and I was there for a while I was studying homeopathy.
Can you maybe unpack just a little bit New Age for people who may not? I mean, most everybody does now, but unpack it a little more.
Sure. Well, the belief in the immortality of the soul, and, you know, just being the best you can be in this life so that you can be something much better in the next life, etc. But the goal is to find peace and find enlightenment, you know, and be as clean and as pure and as loving as you possibly can. But it's by you doing everything. It's not some outside force,
a do-it-yourself project.
It's a do-it-yourself, which I failed at. I have to tell you, I really didn't know what I was doing, and realized that with my every effort, I was actually becoming less happy. I was becoming more confused, because ultimately I was drawing further away from my maker. And so I was bankrupt.
So you're in Australia now. Something must have happened because you're not in that spot any longer either.
No, so I was there on a student visa because, like I said, I went there to study natural medicine, and I was in a naturopathic college, and so I could have stayed in Australia had I chosen to. I was young enough then, because, you know, Australia is pretty specific with their immigration laws, etc. But I also went through a very difficult divorce at the time, and I think that's what I really needed in order for the Lord to humble me. You know, I really fell hard because everything I had built that seemed perfect to me had crumbled. It was, like I had just said a few minutes ago, I was bankrupt, and not financially. I was emotionally and spiritually bankrupt, and also socially bankrupt, because when you lose a marriage, you really are at a loss for your identity, and your status all of a sudden
It affects
seems,
your social circle.
absolutely. And
So the lady who's got two fingers telling everybody what to do, all of a sudden you can't.
I couldn't direct myself into how to get to the next step.
The world is full of trouble and chaos, but sometimes the worst turmoil is inside us. The Bible promises that no matter how sinful, helpless, and wounded you are right now, God can fill you with a peace that goes beyond all comprehension. If you'd like to claim that promise, I'd like to send you a pamphlet called The Promise of Peace. It's absolutely free. Go to talkingdonkeyinternational.org and request offer number 120 to order your copy today.
The people of Jericho were a mess, terrified of Israel. We shouldn't have been. We should have been confident. Amorite warriors are fiercer and better trained than any others, and no army could take down the walls of Jericho. So why were we so afraid? Because they had Jehovah, a God like no other.
I couldn't direct myself into how to get to the next step. So I got invited to a talk, which I thought had to do with helping the environment, activism related to environmental sort of pursuits. And I walked into this auditorium expecting someone to talk about those subjects. And instead, it was a guy talking about prophecies from Scripture. And I wasn't sure whether to leave right away, and I thought, oh, it's a little bit rude of me because I got there late. It was my first, it was the first session, but I got there probably about 20 minutes into it. And I had gotten a seat kind of in the middle of a row, and I felt like, oh, it might be a little awkward if I just get right back up and leave. But it wasn't where I wanted to be. And yet, by the end of it, I thought, I've got to come once more. I knew it was a series, and I wasn't planning on attending the whole thing, but I had to just come one more time. So I did. I attended the second one. Had no idea who this person was speaking. It was in the middle of Sydney, Australia, and he had an American accent. I knew nothing about him. And then at the second one, I asked someone, so who is this person? Oh, you don't know who he is? I said, no, and I don't even know what denomination he represents, but he's saying things I've never heard. I thought I knew things about scriptures and, but boy, I had a lot of learning to do. So I ended up attending every single episode, or whatever he called them, probably, 20 or some such.
You were hooked.
I was hooked. And the third and fourth and fifth, I was bawling. Every time he said something, I'd be like just melting. And I thought, what is happening to me? This usually composed, dignified woman. And I was just with my Kleenex and not wanting anyone to notice me in the back row, but boy, just eating it all up. And by the end of it, I had gotten to know him a little bit. His wife happened to also be Romanian. Well, what a coincidence. So of course, when they got to know me a little bit, they said, well, we're coming to your home to visit you. And I thought, no, you're not. I'm too close for comfort. I'm not sure I want you in my world, But they came, and we became friends. And by the end of it, I learned that when they're not going around the world doing these seminars, they teach a Bible program. I'm not quite sure what
This
what
guy,
to call it.
he was a punk skateboarder full of tattoos and spiked orange hair, I think it was, and before he changed.
That's him.
Yeah.
That's him, for sure. And what an intellect, and the way he explained things, the way he was able to logically and methodically explain scriptures, I had never heard it that way before. I had never heard something that just really, truly appealed to the intellectual side, and I understood. I finally understood, and not just understood, but I submitted. I finally said, Lord, I've made a mess of my life. I don't deserve to be in the driver's seat of my life because look at what I've created. I need you to be here. I need you to be the driver's seat of my life.
That's a beautiful analogy. I mean, that's the perfect analogy. So things right there in Australia totally changed for you.
Well, they've begun changing. I attended the Bible college that he was leading, and it was just a 3.5-month program. But that's when the Lord really worked on me, because I went only to understand, how do I even study this book? I've had a Bible before, you know, I kind of knew where things were in it, but I didn't know how to pray. I had gotten that far away that I felt unsure of how to even begin the process. Like, how do I start? I needed the ABCs. But I certainly wasn't going to talk to anyone about the Bible. I mean, God forbid. And that was an evangelist and Bible college. And I thought, well, I'm going there for my purposes because I need to know how to open this book. Where do I begin? What do I need to study? What does it mean? And how do I pray? But in order to evangelize, that's for other people.
You had no plans to share this with anyone else?
No. That I wasn't about to. And here I am, years later. That was in 2008, by the way, that I went to that Bible college, and left Australia in 2009, only made it back to the States in 2015. But here I am in 2019, deciding to open a restaurant, and not for the business of it, but for the opportunities, the divine appointments, to allow the Lord to have us talking to people about Him, because we knew that weird times were coming. Boy, we didn't know how soon,
Right. How weird. Yeah.
or how weird.
Yeah.
But we certainly knew that there would be plenty of opportunity to talk to people about the changes that we're seeing in our world, our world that we thought just a few years ago was, limping along in kind of normal rate. And here it is now in full deception mode with so much misinformation, disinformation, and confusion. And so, those appointments are coming in fast and furious, and we're here primarily because we want for people to ask us, why is it that you've set up there and you're still in here and you still have this smile on your face, and even the location is just such a strange story. But you look like you were about to ask me something.
We're running out of time a little bit, but I want to ask you, are you happy now in comparison to what you had it all, it seems, quote, all, but everything's changed. Are you really happy, and how much happier if you are?
Oh, can we quantify happiness? I can tell you I have peace that passes understanding. And I know that
Which is hard to explain to anyone who has not met the Lord.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I know that I'm where the Lord needs me to be. And if you would have told me that someday I would be bringing food to people's tables, or bussing, cleaning tables, or I would have said, you're absolutely out of your mind, I mean, it was below my social status, apparently, even when I was in college, to work in a restaurant. And here I am wanting to do this so that I'm in contact with the public, so that I get to have those conversations, and I'm able to offer someone a book that has eternal value.
Gee, in the couple of minutes we have left, you've got a worldwide audience right now to talk to. What would you tell them? Why should they accept and seek after what you've found?
It is worth more than anything this world could ever promise. All that I was seeking for, it's just smoke and mirrors. It's just nothing. and the beauty that comes with knowing the Lord and working to steal people from Satan's kingdom and bring them to the Lord's house is the most gratifying, the most meaningful, and I would give up anything that I ever acquired for people to also realize how important it truly is to work for the Lord. Because I do feel this is a ministry. It's not a restaurant, it's a ministry.
Amen. Amen. Gia, thank you so much for sharing today, and God bless you and all you do.
Thank you.
I guess, we're still at that time. We can shake hands, Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You get trained out of those things, but thank you so much.
It's been my pleasure.
Talking Donkey International is a worldwide media production ministry. We have a dream that can become a reality with your financial partnership.
You see, Janice has been portraying great women of the Bible to churches and spiritual organizations for years. Now is the time to expand this work. Our goal is to produce a powerful 13-episode series called Women of God, set in a period of Israel during Bible times. The characters will virtually come alive, allowing you to witness how God has always empowered women who are committed to Him.
God created a man and a woman to represent Him. It took both. Women have always been an essential part of the gospel message. With your help, we plan to bring to life the powerful stories of women like Deborah, the warrior and judge, Rahab, and the woman at the well. We also plan to create a series of corresponding Bible studies designed just for women.
So please help us create Women of God. The opportunity is now. Another film group has invited us to join them in Morocco to participate in the filming of the Book of Judges. The studios in Morocco are where many of the great biblical epics are being filmed today. Something that would normally cost us in excess of $300,000 will only cost us team travel, gear, crew expenses, and final editing costs. Total cost will be about $89,000. That's a major saving.
I love finding a bargain.
Absolutely. The GoFundMe link is on your screen. Help inspire God's women today. And thank you so much for your prayers and financial support. Thank you for watching. Join us again for another exciting Country Wisdom.
See you next time.